Hello, welcome back to Mr. Thompson's art class. Today we're going to be focusing on the art element space. Okay, so far in our assignments we've covered the elements line, shape, and form. We've also covered our used value and space. So that's what we're using today. On the last two, when we did perspective, we covered space, but we focused on form. But we created cubes and cities in 1 and 2 point perspective. Now, when you're using perspective, you also create the illusion of space, but we were focusing on form because of the cubes. So a lot of the elements of art interact with each other. In case you haven't noticed already, a lot of times when you use one element, you use one or more at least when you're creating art. All right, so today we're going to focus on space and how we create the illusion of space when we create art, or how to create the illusion of space. All right, so attendance, make sure you're completing your assignments the day that I assign them so you can get counted present for my asynchronous learners. If you're synchronous or face-to-face, attendance, of course, is taken when you join the Google Meets or if you're in class. All right, so announcements. Make sure that you get your supplies. We're going to be starting color real soon, like in the next week and a half to 2 weeks. So it's important that you have markers and color pencils. At the very least, have color pencils. And get yourself a ruler, glue stick, scissors, copy paper, and or a sketchbook. A lot of us, or a few of us, less and less of us, are still using notebook paper to do your art assignments. I asked you at the beginning, the most important things that you had were a sketchbook or white paper and pencils. All right, so I didn't ask from too much from you, but I need you to get that white paper and a sketchbook or a sketchbook. Okay. If you're coming in person and you still don't have that, I got these little sketchbooks I made for y'all that you can use. It's it's really all you need. So make sure that you get these supplies and make sure you have color when we start color, because we're gonna first thing we're gonna do is a color wheel, and if you are making a color wheel without colors, it's gonna be pretty awkward. So make sure you get yourself some color pencils, markers, a ruler, glue stick, scissors, and some copy paper, and a sketchbook or a sketchbook. It's great if you have both. If you only have one or the other, that'll be okay too. All right, so joke of the day: why can't you explain puns to kleptomaniacs? Because they always take things literally. All right, so champs. Here's the champs for today. If you're synchronous or face-to-face. For your do now, I want you to name 3 elements of art. So I went over this already at the beginning of the video. So there's 7 elements of art. We've already gone over 3. Today we're going over a 4th one, and I named 2 other ones. All right, so let's go over your do nows. Make sure you turn in your do nows with your assignment. Your do now is part of your assignment grade, so make sure that you turn them in. I mean, you're doing them anyway, so might as well turn them in. Or if you're not doing them, you should be doing them because that's part of your grade. So make sure you get your do nows and your assignments. Take a picture of both of them. You can do it together or separately, however you want to do it. Just make sure you're turning in both, okay? All right, so your learning target, we're going to be creating arts using the elements of art. All right, every time you create art, you're using the elements of art. So yes, it is kind of a double entendre, but you know, that's what we're doing. So we're going to create art today using space, or focusing on space, and how by verbal and visual instruction. Why? So we can discover the fundamentals for creating artwork using space. What that means is you're going to learn how to make art using space, the illusion of space. You're creating the illusion of space. All right, so space, there's a active link here now you can click on. It'll take you to a presentation about space and all the previous, if you look at your unit organizer, it'll give you the schedule of everything we've covered and how and when we've covered them. Okay, so you could click on any of the previous links and it'll take you to a presentation about those if you need review. It seems like some of us need review. When I was asking about elements the other day. A lot of my students had that deer in the headlight look, like they didn't know what I was talking about. All right, so we got all the opportunities you need to review right here on your unit organizer, okay? And then you can see what's to come. So next we're doing value, then texture, balance, unity, variety, and emphasis, okay? And then color when we get to the next unit organizer. All right, so here's a little rundown of space. There are several ways to create the illusion of space. Space is one of the elements of art. So far, we have covered line, shape, and form in our assignments. All right, so I said that, and here we go. There's a confirmation. Space. All right, so how shapes are arranged in an artwork creates sense of space. Consider the possible ways shown below to create space. Okay, you could draw big, fill your whole paper. Extend lines off the paper. See, the leaves of this flower are going off of the paper. That makes it look like there's a larger area. Placement in relation to the horizon. So see, we see the horizon back here. You see how the stuff that's up front, it looks closer to you, and then the closer it gets to the horizon, the smaller the objects get, the boats in this instance. All right. Smaller in distance, larger close up. All right. So the same thing we just talked about over here. This is an example of 1-point perspective, which we did. The trees are bigger up front, and then the further they get back to this vanishing point back here, they get smaller. All right. Darker close up and lighter further away. So this is a 1-point perspective too, even though the vanishing point is off the page. You see that the apples are big up front, and then the further they get back, they get smaller and smaller. Right? Overlapping is a good way. So you see how this person in front, we know he's up front because he's not overlapped. The ones behind him, he's overlapping them. So that makes it look like he's in front. That's a technique that you can use to create the illusion of space. All right, foreground. All right, that's the stuff that's up front. That's how this example is laid out. The bird and whatever he's standing on, I guess a road or something. That's the foreground. All right, middle ground is this area in the middle. Okay, and then the background is the area in the back here. And then positive space. Positive space is the stuff that takes up space. So this bear is taking up space. Negative space is the space around him. All right, or around her. Bear. Okay, so there you go. So that's examples of how to create the illusion of space in your artwork. And here we go. So here's the video for today. It's a little tutorial video on 6 ways to create the illusion of space. You play the video and it'll take you through the 6 ways. I want you, for your assignment, I want you to mimic all 6 of these ways. All right, so just watch the video, see how they do it, and then I want you to do it on your own and create your assignment. This is what your assignment should look like when you've completed it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different ways: overlapping, shading, placement, size, value, and focus, and linear perspective. Now, we've already done linear perspective, so this one should be pretty easy for you. So when you have completed your assignment, you should have all 6 of these examples on your paper. All right, and I want you to label them too. And be sure you turn in your assignment and your due now together. All right, here's your grading scale. Here's what I'm looking for a 5. So maybe if you add some extras to your assignment, that's up to you how you do it in a unique way. Proficient is you did the assignment and met the expectations. Approaching proficient, met the requirement at the expected and appropriate level. Approaching means that you're missing some stuff, and then minimal is you didn't do it or you didn't follow directions and you didn't meet the standards. Okay, so it's pretty easy to get a 4 or a 5. I mean, just do the assignment, follow the instructions, maybe add a little bit extra to it. That's up to you how you do it. All right, so the brag board, this is something I do in class. I do shout outs for students who are doing excellent things. Sometimes you asynchronous learners get shout outs as well. I think what I'm going to do is that when I do shout outs for my asynchronous learners like yourself, I'm going to post a comment in your Google Classroom. That way you know that I was giving you a shout out. Because if you're not coming to the meetings or face to face and you don't know I'm giving you shout outs, and I want to make sure that you know that the hard work you do is appreciated. All right. So that's it for today. Make sure you turn in your assignment and your do now together. Have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll see you next time. Okay.